Welcome to a series of lectures on vector space. Vector space is a gateway to linear algebra, which is very important from the point of view of signal processing in electronics and communication engineering. Vector space is a subject from linear algebra, which is the extension of some concepts of abstract algebra, which we study in lower semesters. Friends, the scope of this vector space is limited to, in this particular presentation, it is limited to basics of abstract algebra, types of algebraic structures, and vector space. Means we will first take up basics of abstract algebra. We will move through the types of algebraic structures which are necessary for the discussions in this presentation and the further presentations, and we will finally define the vector spaces. First question that arises in our mind is that why do we study these vector spaces? So it will be clear by understanding the learning outcomes. So after studying the contents of this presentation, you will be able to define the vector space. You will prove a given space of vectors to be a vector space, and you will be able to apply the criteria of vector space in solving relevant problems. Means the problem may be asked that prove that this is a vector space. For that, there are some criteria which we have to meet. These are the prerequisites. Prerequisites means what earlier knowledge we have gathered is with us. So it requires elementary knowledge of concepts of numbers, means the evolution of real set of real numbers. The evolution of real numbers is a process which requires a deep knowledge of various sets of numbers like natural numbers, rational numbers, integers, whole numbers, etc. Vector algebra with some properties like law of triangle will also be needed in the discussions upon vector spaces. And although you are very well versed with the basic algebraic operations such as plus, minus, multiplication and division, friends, in abstract algebra as well as in linear algebra, the negative sign is considered as addition of inverse element to a given element. So we will call it the addition of a negative number. So we will consider only positive side, that is addition of elements. Secondly, these are the two operations which are complement to each other. Multiplication means we multiply two numbers, but the division means we divide a real number by another real number. But in modern algebra or linear algebra, we say that multiplication of a number with some another rational number or irrational number, that is why we call the multiplication as the second operation in the linear algebra or modern algebra. These are some basic sets which you all are aware, but this is just to refresh that what kind of sets and their symbols we are going to use in the discussions. So first is the double stroke R, denoting the set of real numbers. Second is the two-dimensional Cartesian planes, where we will define a two-dimensional vector, for example xi plus yj. Third one is the Cartesian three-dimensional Cartesian space, where we take one element from first R, one element from second R, and third element from third R, and we construct the ordered triad that will be called as R cube. And similarly, this is the n product extension of the set of real numbers called Euclidean space, where the elements of this R raised to n will be called n tuple elements. This is the double stroke C, denoting the set of complex numbers, the c power 0. This is not c power 0, it is c raised to 0, means the set of continuous functions on real number line. This c0i means the set of functions on and defined on an interval I. This I may be a to b, 0 to 1, minus 1 to plus 1, whatever is the requirement, we can call it I. This is the set of matrices of order n cross n whose elements are the real numbers, and this is Pn denotes the polynomial of degree n. 2. The basics of abstract algebra in terms of elements of sets. What kind of notations we are going to use for the elements in these sets are, these are the real numbers we will be denoting. This is the set of vectors defined in the form of an ordered pair x comma y, where these x and y belong to R. This is the triad x comma y comma z, where all the three belong to the set of real numbers. This is the n-tuple element of the set R raised to power n, that is the Euclidean space, and all of the components belong to the set of real numbers. This is the set of complex numbers z defined by x plus iy, where the symbols have the usual meanings which you are aware of. This is the collection of functions which are continuous in the real number set for all x belonging to R. But this set C0i is this collection of functions which are defined and continuous on the interval I. It is very specific interval and will be taken separate for the separate problem. Next we come to identity elements we are going to use in our discussions and definitions. So the first column represents the sets, second column represents the additive identities, and the third set represents the identity elements, especially for multiplication. So additive identity for the set of real numbers is 0. Identity element will be 1 for multiplication. For R2, R3, Rn, these are the unit vectors we define. C complex set Z, additive identity is 0 plus I0, and this identity will be 1, not 0 plus I0, it will be 1 plus I0. Fx equal to 0 is the additive identity for the set of continuous functions, and fx equal to 1 is the multiplicative identity. Similarly, for a 2 cross 2 set of 2 cross 2 matrices having the real number elements will be null matrix as the additive identity and unit matrix as the multiplicative identity. So these are some notations which we will be using in our discussions and problems. Friends, there are binary operations as well as algebraic properties. What kind of binary operations and their properties we are going to use are listed in these tables. These are 5 important properties based upon addition operation: closure, associativity, identity, inverse, and commutative. And these are already studied in the lower classes, so need not to describe more and more. As far as multiplication is concerned, these are the properties and these are the notations we are going to use. Dot is used for multiplication operation and plus is used for addition operation. Next we take some additional algebraic properties which will be required for defining the vector space, and these are: number 1, distributive properties. That means the multiplication distributes the addition. When we write a dot bracket b plus c, it means a is distributed to b and c as well. Second is left cancellation. If we have an equation of this kind, a plus b equal to a plus c, then it will be b equal to c, a will be cancelled. This is right cancellation. Multiplication of vector by scalar. This is the most important algebraic property which we will require in defining the vector space. That if we take alpha from a set of real numbers and v from a set of vectors, then their multiplication of alpha with v is an element in V, that is the set of vectors and not the set of real numbers. So this is the important property we will be using. Next, magnification of vector. This multiplication of vector by scalar, that is called scaling. If we take alpha greater than 1, then it magnifies the vector, it increases the length of the vector, and that is why it is called magnification. Second is contraction of vector. When we take alpha less than 1, it reduces the length of vector and we call it contraction. It is the reversal of vector. If we take alpha equal to -1, it reverses the direction of vector from the original direction. These are the algebraic structures we want to discuss very briefly. The first and foremost important algebraic structure is group. Why do we call it a group, or how do we call it a group? Because additive group G, a non-empty set G with this binary operation of addition is called a group if it satisfies these four properties, that is closure, associativity, identity, and inverse. And similar is the case with the multiplicative group, that is G with multiplication operation, G comma star. So these are the two group structures which satisfy the four important basic algebraic properties. Mind that in the additive group, the inverse element is -a, whereas the inverse element in multiplicative group is A inverse. So inverse exists only for non-zero elements, because we cannot divide any number with 0 because it gives us infinity. Next is what is the abelian group? Abelian group is a type of group which satisfies the properties already satisfied by a group, but in addition to those four properties which the group satisfies is commutative property A plus B is equal to B plus A, and similar argument can be given for this abelian group of multiplication operation. And these are the four important properties which a group should satisfy, and apart from these four, this another fifth property which the elements of this set must satisfy is A dot B equal to B dot A. Next we come to ring. What is ring? It is the extended form of group with some additional features in it. A non-empty set R with these two operations, these are also known as binary compositions. We use the word this composition intentionally because in the definition of vector space, we will be using the words internal composition and external compositions. So these are the two compositions because this plus and this multiplication both compose the elements to give another elements. That is why we call them composition. So addition and multiplication are the two binary compositions associated with this set R, and this is said to be a ring if it meets the following axioms, like R plus is an abelian group under condition, means it should satisfy all those 5 conditions of additive group which are closure, associativity, identity, inverse, and commutativity. Next, in addition to those 5 properties, for any A, B, C in real this set R, the distributive property holds. That is, the multiplication distributes the addition, which is represented by A dot B plus C equal to A dot B plus A dot C. And on the other side, this is also important to write A plus B dot C equal to A dot C plus B dot C. Means left distribution and right distribution both exist in case of ring. So a ring means 5 properties of abelian group for addition and this one distributive property. If these 6 properties are satisfied, then it is called a ring. But if these elements commute with each other, A plus B equal to B plus A, then such a ring will be called commutative ring. So this is all brief about the ring. Next we come to field. So what is field? A non-empty set with two binary compositions, internal compositions of course. The meaning of internal means we want to apply these addition and multiplication to the elements of the set itself. No outer set is allowed to appear in the definition of this field. So when internal elements of a set are composed to give another elements, this is called internal composition. Then it is said to be a field if it meets the following exams, like F plus is an abelian group under addition, means this set should be an abelian group for addition, as well as this is an abelian group for multiplication also, meaning thereby this F should satisfy 5 properties of abelian group for addition and 5 properties for abelian group under multiplication. Apart from these 10 properties, it must satisfy the multiplication distributes addition, that is distributive property defined by A dot B plus C equal to A dot B plus A dot C. So if we talk of ring, then ring has the property of these 5 axioms plus this last one. But if we include the property abelian group for multiplication, then the ring becomes the field, and we are interested in this field only because field will be required for defining the vector space. Next, examples of fields are, the field may be the set of rational numbers, set of real numbers, Cartesian plane in 2 dimensions, 3-dimensional space, Euclidean space, as well as the set of complex number. All these sets are in the category of field because all these sets satisfy the 11 properties which a field should. Next, we are now come to vector space. So vector space is the most general algebraic structures we have discussed so far, and it is very important from the point of view of vectors, because vector is a term which we first encounter in physics, where we consider 2 or 3 directions, but in mathematics, especially in linear algebra, we will consider n tuple elements belonging to a set of Euclidean space. So let us denote V be a set of vectors and F be a field with these 2 compositions which I discussed. That internal composition means we have a composition F which assumes the values from V cross V to V, one element from one V, another element from another V, and it leads to element in V itself. Then it is called internal composition for plus. And this another second composition G, one element is taken from F, another element is taken from V, but the resulting element is mapped to the set V only. Then it is called the external composition. So the set V along with this field satisfying the compositions of this nature, internal and external, is said to be a vector space VF over a field F subject to following axioms. What are these axioms? Number 1, V plus is a commutative group with internal composition. Means V plus should be an abelian group. It means it should satisfy the 5 properties of an abelian group for addition operation. Second is scalar multiplication distributes addition with external composition. A is taken from this F, and U and V are the 2 vectors taken from this set V. So if we write A dot U plus V, then if it distributes, then it should be valid for all A belonging to F and all U comma V belonging to V. Then only we say that scalar multiplication distributes addition with external composition for this set V. Third property, rather 7th property, 5 plus 6 plus 7, A plus BU equal to AU plus BU. This was the multiplication of sum of 2 vectors by a scalar, and this is the sum of 2 scalars multiplied by a vector. So it is AU plus BV for any arbitrary values A, B and U. No exceptions are allowed that this particular property is restricted to these numbers only. So this will not be allowed. It should be valid for all A, B belonging to F and U belonging to V. Then this eighth property which it should satisfy, that the multiplication of two real numbers taken from F when multiplied to U, it is as good as writing A multiplied by BU, means it is associative. The scalar multiplication is associative with the elements of V. And the last property is 1 dot U equal to U equal to U dot 1. 1 is the multiplicative identity of the field F and U is a vector taken from V. So if this is satisfied, then we call that the vector U when multiplied by 1 is unchanged. So apart from these five properties, these four important properties are also need to be satisfied by a set V. If all these 9 properties are satisfied, then we call that VF is a vector space. What are the examples of vector space? Number 1, a two-dimensional Cartesian plane is a vector space, which we will verify in the next couple of slides. Three-dimensional Cartesian space, R cube, n-dimensional space, set of continuous functions, set of matrices of order n cross n, and we will take up some examples from M2 and M3, and set of polynomials of degree. Now take up an example that the two-dimensional space R square is a vector space over the field of real numbers R. In this illustration, we are taking the liberty of representing a vector in 2 dimensions like U equal to xi plus yj by the ordered pair x comma y. This R square is equal to x comma y, where this x and y are the real numbers belonging to set R. To prove R square to be a vector space over the real field R, we need to verify all the 9 axioms which we have defined with the definition of a vector space. And for that we consider these 3 elements x1, y1, x2, y2 and x3, y3 in V. Then the first property which we want to prove is the closure, that addition of 2 vectors is closed under addition. x1, y1 first vector plus x2, y2 second vector are added in a manner that the corresponding components are added, x1 plus x2, y1 plus y2. Then we say that this element is in V, because the sum of 2 real numbers is again a real number, which allows us to say that this element belongs to V. So the closure property is satisfied. Second property is the associativity, that is x1, y1 plus the sum of these 2 vectors, and we write it in this manner so that we can use the associative property of real numbers to express this particular term in the form of x1 plus x2 plus x3. So after writing both the parts of this vector, we can write x1 y1 plus x2 y2 plus x3 y3. It is x3 y3, not x2 y2. Next, the additive identity. Zero vector is considered as the additive identity of a set of 2-dimensional vectors, and if we add this null vector or zero vector to another vector, non-zero vector, then it is like x1 y1. So it is retained as it is. So we prove that identity element exists in the set V. Next is the additive inverse, minus x1 minus y1, a vector in the reverse direction. If we add a vector to its reverse direction vector, then we get the additive identity, and it proves that inverse element does exist in V. Next property which we want to prove, that x1 y1 plus x2 y2 is equal to x2 y2 x1 y1. That is the commutative property, which can also be verified with the property of set of real numbers, where x1 plus x2 can be written as x2 plus x1, and similar is the argument for y2 plus y1. Next is the scalar multiplication distributes. If A is a real number belonging to F, that is set of real numbers, and we multiply it with the sum of two vectors x1 y1 and x2 y2, we can write the right hand side pair as ax1 plus ax2 and ay1 plus ay2. And utilizing the property of real numbers, we can write the last expression ax1 y1 plus ax2 y2. Doing this, we show that the scalar multiplication distributes from left. Now, if we take two elements A and B from F, the scalar multiplication distributes from right. A plus B dot x1 y1, and using the properties which we have utilized in this expression are over here also. So we can write A x1 y1 plus B x1 y1. So doing this, we say that scalar multiplication distributes from right. Next is, if we consider two real numbers A and B in F and multiply it by a vector, then using the associativity of real numbers, we can arrive at the right hand side of this particular property, and we say that the scalar multiplication is associative with the vector. Next, 1 dot x1 y1 equal to x1 y1 dot 1 means if we multiply 1, that is the scalar, with the vector, it remains same. So hence we say that the set of vectors r square r over the field of real numbers is a vector space, because it has satisfied all the 9 axioms necessary for a set to satisfy for being a vector space. Here are the practice exercise for you. Set of 2-dimensional vectors, a set of 3-dimensional rather, it is not 2-dimensional, it is 3-dimensional vector x, y, z. It is an n-dimensional vector x1 to xn, where these are the n tuples, and set of polynomials is a vector space. These are the 3 exercises left for you to verify. Thank you.